What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of TAETRO Talks. A little bit later than usual today, so I hope you all were able to tune in. I see a few people in the chat already. What is going on? Jeff, Jermaine, Almighty, Perkyman, Jonathan, Diane, Bueno, Seon. If I miss you, I'm sorry. D. Marin. Hello. Welcome. We have Sarah the Instrumentalist today. What is up, Sarah? Thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm stoked that you were able to be here, and we a little bit later today, and we pushed back a little bit because you were doing stuff at work at your really cool job, which I don't want to give away yet. We'll talk about that later. But guys, Sarah, aside from being a really dope YouTuber, beat maker, producer, has a really dope day job. You do so many things. Can you just, for anybody in the chat that maybe doesn't know you, can you give me the elevator pitch? Who is Sarah the Instrumentalist?
I'm pretty much a creator, content creator. I pretty much don't limit myself. So if I want to create something, I do it. So, a lot of people know me for like making music, instrumentals, and of course, I create YouTube videos to kind of just share my process and my journey since I've been making music. And so after creating, that YouTube channel, I was able to kind of even think of what our audience needs. And for me personally, I started creating like clothing for music producers, or just like a branding for music producers called Quantize. And so I run that business, and I also help produce the Zane Lowe show on Apple Music.
So dope.
Which is interesting. So yeah, so I do a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting something, but yeah, I create music videos.
Yeah.
I actually help my girlfriend. She has a podcast called Wellness Wednesday, and I help her produce that content. So I'm just trying to do anything, art. I paint.
Yeah.
Anything I can that makes me happy. Honestly, I really just try not to limit myself to do anything.
It's super inspiring, and I want to dive deeper into like all those things because there's so much, it goes so much deeper than how you just said it. So I want to really unpack everything and have the audience kind of really understand how many pots you have your hands in, because it's kind of crazy and super inspirational and very entrepreneurial, and something that a lot of people, I think,
and psycho.
And a little bit psycho, but hey, that's what we do as creatives, right?
Yeah.
Before we get too deep in the interview today, guys, I want to let you all know we are brought to you by 343 Labs today. For those of you who don't know, 343 Labs is an electronic music production school based in New York, opening soon in Berlin, but also online. So anybody can take classes at 343 Labs. If you can go to 343labs.com, you can check out all the different classes we have: Ableton, Logic, full summer immersives, mixing and mastering, all that. Check the link. I believe it's in the description. Not only do we have courses, but we're streaming live every single day. So if you tune to the 343 Labs YouTube channel, we have 343 TV. Mondays, we do an Ableton show. Tuesdays is Techno Tuesday. Wednesdays is a house music show. Thursdays is Music Theory with Max and TAETRO Talks. Fridays, Bitwig Basics with Abe. And then Saturdays is Saturday Showcase. So tune in every single day. Same time, I believe 1 p.m. EST. We're live. Educational content for you, totally free. And then if you want to go deeper, check out the courses on 343labs.com. That said, we have a couple giveaways today, so keep your eye on the chat, because Thomas from 343 Labs is going to be dipping in and sending you all a link to enter the giveaway for a 3-month Splice subscription, and then another prize of an Arturia plugin, the OBXA. So stay tuned for that. Keep your eyes on the chat. Also, if you have questions for our guest, Sarah, please let me know. Drop them in the chat. I will go ahead and read them. Seems like a lot of people are stoked that you're here. Diane says hey. Perkyman says hey. Question right off the bat. Seon says, I gotta ask Sarah, where do you get your voice tags from? They're awesome.
My voice tags? What do you mean?
I'm not
specifically?
Sure.
Like just like in general?
Probably the vocal samples.
Anywhere, honestly, depends on on what I'm making and what part of my journey I was in. If like there's a point where I was just sampling from anything, it could be like a Netflix show.
Yeah.
or like YouTube, or like honestly people outside, like my friends, um, or it could be like an actual sound library. Um, I um, I encourage people to share with other producers. I had someone give me like a huge collection of their sounds, like maybe like 8 years ago,
Wow.
and then someone else gave me their collection of sounds like 2 years after that, and then you know we just exchanged sounds and have this collection of sounds I could kind of just get from. So it just depends on how I'm feeling. If I heard something, I could have been watching a movie and like, ooh, I want to sample that.
Yeah.
Or it could be like a honestly like a interview or podcast that like someone says something really cool, and I'll just take that snippet out.
I love
But
that.
if it's something, it just depends, what I'm creating. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Since there are the many sides of Sarah the instrumentalist, I want to focus in on, for the beginning part, like the music producer slash like YouTuber side, because I think that's how I first became familiar with you and what you do. I think maybe some of the first videos I saw of you were the Artifact Instrument 1, because we were both kind of doing
yeah,
content with that.
right. Hmm.
And I thought, like, I found your channel from there. And back then, like, you were recording in like what was a much, I think, smaller space than you do now. Like, you're like a smaller bedroom. Like, you were just like this smaller channel, and then over the next couple of years, like watching your channel grow and grow, and you kind of grow and eventually move, and that was super inspiring to watch. You've done music for the YouTube, the audio library, right?
Yeah, I did make some beats for them.
That's
It's pretty
really great.
cool.
But you're super prolific, and you've done work with Epidemic Sound too, as well.
Yes, I compose for their catalog. It's pretty dope because like their music is made for content creators. As a content creator, I know how important it is to have really good music for your YouTube videos. So it's really nice to. That's always been a goal for me to when I would watch a video, I'm like, wait, where did they get their music from? Or like, I wish I can give them beats.
Yeah,
And it's just really nice that it automatically kind of happens now. And like, I'm like, wow, that's my beat. From
like
the
a Will
inception.
Smith video. Like, I
Yeah,
think I saw that.
yeah, it's just
That's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the because the stuff on there, because for some like client work that I do or whatever, they do YouTube videos, and if they don't have an original score, I dig through the audio library, and your stuff is so dope and fits so well in a lot of different projects. But that must be so crazy to just be watching a video, like a Will Smith YouTube video, and your beat pops up.
Just any video, honestly, could be like. I mean, honestly, as a person, I watch YouTube videos. So when I'm watching something, I clicked on naturally, and I'm actually
Yep.
enjoying the content. And then like my song pops up, I'm like, wow, like I'm a part of this person's
Yeah.
journey. And like sometimes they'll use it a bunch of times, and it just makes me feel really good that I can help.
Can
Their
you take
content.
me? Oh, go ahead. Can
Yeah.
you take me from the story of, like, I'm sure you were making music before you had a YouTube channel. I'm sure before you had like this big audience that you already have. Now, can you take me, like, tell me the story of like that transition from like you just like making beats, doing your thing, to all of a sudden starting to build an audience and do all this crazy stuff, like make beats for Epidemic Sound and the YouTube audio library, and your channel kind of blowing up over time. Tell me the story. Where did that all begin?
Honestly, well, growing up, I'm the only child to my mom, so like I would just have a lot of time and have different instruments been given to me over the years. I wasn't really good at playing any of them. I would just play a couple of songs here and there. Um, but I think when I got older, I had decided to like spend my own money on a machine, and when I spent that money on it, I kind of felt bad that I wasn't using it. So I
That's
kind
funny.
of I kind of made the decision to like because I like I said, I never really was good at playing instruments because my mom would buy me stuff, but then I would never really take the time to really focus. So when I spent my money on something like the machine, when I didn't actually use it, I felt bad, and I decided to do like a 30-day beat challenge. So like I would make beats 30 days in a row, and like I would force myself to post it on SoundCloud to hold myself accountable. Um, and like finish old beats that I would make new ones, and not get attached to them. just kind of like make them and let them go. Because there would be a lot of the times I would make songs and then would never finish them or would never release them because I would feel some type of way like it's not finished or you know that insecurity. So after doing a 30-day beat challenge, it just created a habit of me creating content every day. And then from that point, I would just make stuff just naturally because it wasn't like me. It wasn't a forced thing. Like when you do something after 28 days, you're training your brain to be you're programming your brain to do that. So
Absolutely.
so that's what happened. After making beats consistently for 30 days. I used to work at the Apple store. So when I worked at the Apple store, I would have these 15-minute breaks, and at work, I would make beats. And eventually, like, it would get to a point where, like, I would make beats on my break, and some people would come up to me and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm making beats." And then at first, I was kind of annoyed because I'm like, of course you see me making music. Like, why would you like ask me what I'm doing? But then I was like, you know what? It's okay. They want to just know what I'm doing. So let me just make a YouTube channel. So next time someone comes up to me, I can just be like, hey, go to my YouTube channel and just watch me on there if you're super curious. So I started making videos of my journey, and consistently making like videos every week. So during work, like I said, I would work, but my prize or my reward for going to work would to be on a break and like hide and like make a beat or like edit a video. And it just became to a point where like certain things happen. Like I had a coworker that she quit her job to do YouTube full time, and that was the first time I ever like wow, someone can quit their job.
Like you only ever hear about that. You never actually see somebody doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it was someone I was close to, and she actually at the time needed music for her YouTube channel, and she would I would give her music and she would exchange it like in exchange for like helping me understand like what it was to be a YouTuber, and like we would create content together. Her name is Tech Me Out, and she helped me, gain confidence, understand you could quit your job to make content, but also like she just helped me, have the confidence to start reaching out to others, like companies. I would start it at that point because she does reviews on tech
Right.
stuff. So like she was like, you have an audience, your YouTube channel, you could, reach out to music companies and they'll love to collaborate with you. And at first I was like, no, they're not going to want to work with
It's hard
me.
to even imagine that. It's hard to imagine that you could reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'd love to check this out. Will you send me a piece of gear for free? And that they would say yes. It's hard to even imagine that.
Exactly. So I think I reached out to like a couple of companies, and like surprisingly people were very supportive, and it kind of just gave me that confidence to like, well, let me reach out to other people and see what they're gonna do. And then the more you kind of put yourself out there, the more other people see you, and then they start reaching out to you. So that's kind of what happened with my YouTube channel. It's like there was a point where I didn't have to reach out to anyone. Now people are reaching out to me, and as far as the YouTube channel goes, it's like now I have sponsorships, and I have like, these. I could, if we weren't in coronavirus, I'd just be traveling.
For sure. I had a big trip that just like fell through.
Yeah.
And it was so sad. It was probably like the same one, if not a similar one, that we were probably supposed to be in the same place. And can you imagine that the last time we saw each other was at a massive gathering at the NAMM show? Like, imagine how much the world has changed in, when was that? That was not
in January.
That was in January. Oh my gosh, like 6 months ago, less than that.
Right.
I want to go back and mention that 30-day beat challenge that you just mentioned, because I did a very similar thing last October. I called it Beat Tober, where I made a beat every single day. But it's an important thing that you said, and I think for the audience to understand, it's not just about making a beat every day, because you can lie to yourself and say, yeah, I'm making a beat every day. But you need that level of accountability, which for you, I guess, was posting on SoundCloud. for me, what I ended up doing was posting a video on Instagram. Like that was the accountability every day. So it had to get posted somewhere. People had to see it, so people knew that I was keeping up with the thing that I said I was going to do for 30 days. And it's so, you described it perfectly. You're training your brain to literally be a computer. Like my beat making process became so refined after that 30 days that actually that opened up career opportunities and, well, just like income opportunities for me, because I could trust that before it was like, oh, could I make a beat in this amount of time or whatever. It's like, no, like I'm just a machine now. Like I know my process. I know how to do it.
Exactly.
That,
but yeah, that's the most important thing. That's where it started for me, is creating a habit. And then also other things outside of music, just, a lot of my life changed outside of music. Just like, you gaining understanding that you're a computer, that's one thing. And that didn't just come out of nowhere. It's a lot of like, I meditate, I do yoga, I started to eat a lot better. And because I started to treat myself better, like the universe provides for me a lot easier and faster than it has ever been. So, a lot of stuff outside of music or just, has helped me out tremendously. So like, but as far as like, my story, as far as like continuing what I was saying, when I was creating these beats, these instrumentals in my YouTube channel, I was kind of in this really weird phase where like a lot of rappers would kind of contact me and ask me to be on my beats. And I kind of felt weird about it because I always felt like I never really wanted that. So
like those are like your beats. Like, do you really want to, like, this not what they were meant for? Like, do you want to just give them to anybody? Because I know that feeling too. Like everybody reaches out and says, "Can I get on this? Can I get on this?" It's like, well, that's not really what it was made for.
Right. And I kind of went on this, like, I kind of started to believe like I don't have to do that. Like, why can't I just make instrumentals and like be a good musician or an artist as a producer? Why aren't producers like artists?
Why are producers in service to other artists rather than just the artists?
Yeah, so like I made my first beat tape. I stopped putting stuff on SoundCloud, started, publishing it on, all the streaming services. And the minute my first beat tape Conversations came out, I had got like, Epidemic, someone from Epidemic reached out to me. And at first I didn't really know who they were, but come to find out, my friend teched me out, the girl that does YouTube, YouTuber. She, when I talked to her about kind of much all the stuff that happens to me, like, because she's the only person that at least I know that can relate to what I'm going through. I can't really speak to like my mom, like, hey mom, got this like email from this A&R.
It's just different from people who are used to like 9-to-5 like situations. It's just totally different.
Yeah, so like when I told her about Epidemic, she's like, oh yeah, I use them for like music. And she's like, if they don't have music in their library, I reach out to you, and it would just make sense for you to get paid for me to use your music. And they should, you should definitely like work with them. So like kind of gave me like reassurance that they're dope, because after that I started to notice them everywhere. And we started to build a relationship, and then I get signed to them. And then it's because I'm making instrumentals. It's not me getting signed to a traditional record label where I'm making music for rappers. So like everything that I had kind of believed kind of came true, to where like I'm able to kind of do what I love to do without having to compromise like who I am. So it was really dope. And it kind of, at the same time, at work, like, because I was working at the Apple store.
Yeah, let's stress that, because everything you just said like sounded like a dream. I'm sure people in the chat are like, yes, that's what I want. Yes. But then you just jump in and say, oh, I was also at work, still working at the Apple store. Like sometimes people think it means like you just like went ahead and quit your job right off the bat and started doing your thing. But like talk about that, like how that process, how it took time, even though you were seeing a lot of success.
Well, yeah, so before even like my YouTube channel before me even making music, like seriously, I was working at the moment I graduated from college, which was back in 2012. Like, I had graduated. I went to St. John's University in New York City, and I immediately came back home to North Carolina um, after college. And my first job was like working at Verizon Wireless, and then afterwards, um, I would start working at the Apple store, and I kind of told myself like, hey, like you don't have to settle for working in the store. Apple's really big, and you can go work in corporate. But not only just corporate, they have a music side. Like go over there to the music side. And at first, this was like way before Beats One or Apple Music. This is like the iTunes era.
Yeah.
And I kind of told myself to just apply to be like an administrative assistant, just to kind of get myself out to California. But in the middle of this journey, I actually met like one of the creators of iTunes, and she kind of I was being interviewed for like a really small role. And when I had this interview with her, she kind of stopped the interview and she was like, "Yeah, you don't deserve this role. You deserve to do much more."
Oh wow.
And I was like, "Wait a minute." And then she was just like, and I was like, "Well, since we're being honest here, I think you're right. I just don't know what to do, you know." So she kind of like,
Oh, I think we lost Sarah for a moment. Oh, can you say that one more time? Go back to that epic moment where you're like, all right, we're being honest.
Can you
And
hear me?
yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I had like I said, had this interview with one of the creators of iTunes, and like I said during the interview, she kind of stopped it, and she was like, "Yeah, you deserve to do something much more than just be like
That's
an."
an amazing interview moment. That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember it's crazy because like the thing is, so like in my head, I'm like, ooh, I'm about to be this administrative assistant. I'm about to get people coffee. I'm about to do like the best faxing.
Right.
You
But just
know?
start working your way up. Like
Yeah.
that's the mindset.
Right. And she was very honest. She was just like, if you get in this role, it's going to be hard for you to get out. It's going to be hard for anyone to like want to take you serious. And she was just like, you deserve to do something else. And like Apple has these programs where they allow retail employees to do career experiences for like a couple of months where Apple takes care of that employee. So basically it's like an internship, but for retail employees. So
Cool.
she created this program for me to be mentored by her for 4 months. So I got to leave North Carolina for 4 months, and I got to spend 4 months kind of just being mentored by her, understanding what her department does. But it wasn't like the creative side. It was iTunes. So when I came back to it was in like the business analytics side, more like project coordinating, like a lot of
Like just businessy business
yeah,
stuff.
like
Yeah.
numbers, and which is cool. Like I was good at it, but at the same time, I deep down inside just knew that there was I knew I needed to be creative. So like when I was honest with myself, this is kind of when like outside of work, when the beat tape, like I started creating the beat tape, I decided to reapply for another career experience at the Apple retail, because they have a bunch of other career experiences or roles you can apply for, and they had one where you could be a production assistant at Beats One, and I kind of just told myself like, hey, that's probably where I want to be, where
For
I need to
sure.
be. And so long story short, like it took years to get this position, but like I had finally got the ability to like get this career experience, like these couple of months where I was basically flown out to California, and just taking care of it, but also working in the role of this particular role or person.
And was
So
that internship like a little bit more? Were you feeling better about that one than the previous one? Like a little more creative?
yes, and that's why my day job's what it is now is yeah, because it started like last January. I came out to LA, and I was working on like a bunch of different Beats One shows, um, and the Zane Lowe show at the time, like they have this their own team, and they had someone, one of their assistants like left for a couple of days, and they needed some help. So I kind of just stepped on in and
That's great.
and then literally gave them my best, and I've never left the team ever since. So like
So you must have made an impression in that 2 days. You had that 2 day window to really make an impression and like
yeah, I
just be
wasn't
there.
playing around. I
Yeah.
wanted to be on their team, and you know, that experience, it ended. So like I said, these experiences, they you're supposed to go back to the retail store after a couple of months. So like I knew I had to go back home to North Carolina. So this was all around the time like when I got signed, and it was actually, I got signed a long time before. I didn't quit my job because I actually really wanted to have this experience with Beats One, and so when the career experience ended and I had to go back to the store, that's when I quit my job.
Right.
So I had went back to the store. I made the decision to take a couple of months off from working to travel and to focus on making music. And you know, the people at the store, they're very supportive. It was really nice to have that support, because they know that I would actually like, I would be working and then I would take a break and make beats, and then
Yeah.
and it was a very creative environment. So like they're very supportive, and after a couple of months of taking a break from work, Beats One called me back to work for Zane Lowe.
Wow.
So that's what I'm doing right now.
That's a
So
huge call.
yeah, so it's been pretty cool. It's been interesting. It's a lot of work,
I
but
see your Instagram stories and you are like right up in there with all these crazy artists. Like, do you want to
yes.
just talk about some of the people that you've met like through this job so people can get a real idea for those who are not familiar with Zane Lowe and the show?
Well, Zane Lowe, he interviews everyone, your top
He's huge.
artists. I mean, he's interviewed people like, Selena Gomez, Taylor, Justin, all the Justins, you know,
All the
all
huge
the
artists.
all the huge
Grimes, I
artists.
saw.
Yeah. My favorite always will be Thundercat. He's
Oh, wow. Yeah.
he's the man. He's shout out to Thundercat. But yeah, I don't, as far as, the experience, it's amazing. It's kind of unbelievable because it's kind of numbing because it's like I'm used to it. I do it so much to where it's like
Used to the revolving door of stars.
I'm not realizing like, wow,
Yeah.
you just did that. Just
Wild.
but we do it so much, so it's just like it is a lot, but it's really cool. Like I probably have like one of the coolest jobs, so it is pretty cool.
And how's the balance? Because we just kind of went through the journey of your career, like your employment, like who's like a traditional job, like you're maintaining that, but then at the same time you're building your channel and like doing the music thing and doing. So how were you balancing that while still like excelling at work at like day job world, and then also excelling at building your own brand and your own, you know, online persona?
I think it's kind of like doing the same thing I always done. Like I said, during my breaks, I would take advantage of them. I wouldn't just sit there and like scroll on
Yeah.
like Twitter and something like that. I would like, from like now that we're at home, it's a lot easier because I'm at home. I can like literally have two computers open and two
You
separate
jump
things.
from producing Zane Lowe's show
Yeah.
to making a beat and then jump back over. Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends. If something's done, I can like, okay, let me go take a walk, or let me go spend time with my family, or let me go make dinner, or let me go make a beat, or let me, finish the show. I try to have like a decent balance. Like today, like wake up super early, try to do things work related, like try to walk, try to go do yoga, get some fresh air, and then
I'm
start
loving
working.
If you guys are not following Sarah on Instagram, you guys should at Sarah2ill, right?
Yes.
Sarah2ill. You guys should, because I'm loving your daily affirmations like on your stories.
Oh,
Like
thank
those are
you.
great. I love the like the balance you seem to have of like spirituality and like just being a monster at being able to get work done. Like you seem
Yes.
like you have a real keen balance on all that.
Yeah, it's important. I think you can't. You have to take time for yourself. You can't always work. I work a lot, but like I try to like get up a little earlier to not do work. So if I know I have to do a lot during the day, I've already made time for myself, and then it's just a balance of trying to do everything. And I have a family too. I have like a girlfriend. We were raising a 5-year-old, and we definitely like very mindful of our time and making sure that everyone gets a right amount of attention. So we have a calendar, and we literally write down like what we're gonna do each night and like what we're gonna eat, and just like have like a routine for ourselves. And like we're all content creators. Even our child, like we're all like creating content.
I
And
believe the 5-year-old is also a content creator.
yeah. So we try to like communicate a lot, let each person know like, hey, this is the project I'm working on, or like, hey, I may need your help, or hey, I may need you to leave or like be quiet. So
Mhm.
um but like as far as like on a daily, like with work, like I already know like with Zane stuff is Monday through Friday for the most part, and usually I have my weekends free to kind of just create content. So like me right now, as far as my YouTube channel goes, I'm trying to get on a cadence of doing stuff, releasing content every Sunday, um, and not kind of overwhelm myself. There was points where I would create a lot of YouTube content, and then just like it's okay to just maybe do it like a channel, have like an actual like set date where
Yeah.
you do stuff. But it just depends. Like everything is different. Everyone's different. Because I am working on Zane Show, I don't have the time, the amount of time I would like to have to create as much content as I would like to. Trust
Right.
me. But I make time. I make time for everything. I think if anything is important to me, I make time for it. So if I have an idea, I'm gonna make sure I, spend an hour recording it, and another hour later on editing it, and
Yeah.
try to move forward. So
Tell me
yeah.
about your philosophy around like the financial aspect of being an artist, because you have a bunch of different revenue streams. I mean, you've got your day job, the Zane Lowe show. You've got the channel, which I'm sure generates income in a number of ways, all the ways that we know. And then you've got your brand, No Quantize. So how are you looking at have you always just been entrepreneurial minded and like having multiple streams of income and making sure you secure that way?
It's crazy. Probably this time 2 years ago, I would only have one source of income, and now there's so many. And it just became over time just learning about, like I said, stuff outside of music, like trying to understand energy and like your mindset, and your mind creates your reality. Um, I have an understanding that everything is pretty much fake as hell, and and everything is created by your mind. Like if you actually know how to control your mind or your thoughts, then like things will, like your reality will reflect it. And as far as money, like I finally started to have a different relationship with money. A lot of people have a negative relationship with money. A lot of people think they're broke, and you can't think that way. You have to really train yourself to believe that you deserve, or that you have it all. Like you don't need anything. Like stop wanting or stop needing something, and start believing that you already have it. And once you start believing that it's already yours, it starts to align up with you. So like I remember like learning that every time I would spend money, that instead of me feeling like, oh, I'm losing $20, I start to remember like I'm circulating this money, and it's going to come back to me 100 times more. And you have to believe that, because at first you're like, no, this money isn't coming back. I'm spending it. So just like having a different relationship with money, like a positive relationship with money, and but also like stepping outside of the tradition, like working 9 to 5, is whack. I would work so hard, and then like the amount of money I would get just doesn't add up. So I just feel like after learning the quote from Warren Buffett, he said, "If you're not making money while you're sleeping, you're gonna die broke." So it kind of just made me realize, like, wow, if I'm not making like money while I'm sleeping, I'm gonna just be broke. So like that just means like I need to learn how to make passive income. Like, what can I do like to sit here and not do anything, but like money comes to me. So like, I'm really grateful that we live in the technology or the internet era,
Yeah.
because it's amazing. Like, one of the biggest things that has helped me, I created a course on the machine, and it's just one course, but that one course has helped me out so much, where I know I don't have to work anymore at all. All I have to do is put the work up front. It doesn't, passive income isn't just like, it just happening all of a sudden. You have to put the work in up front. It
Yeah,
took
passive
me,
income is not so passive at a certain
no,
point.
right. You have to, you have to put some action into it at
Up
first. And then,
front, yeah.
yeah. And then over time, it starts to like, it's like a seed. You have to plant it first, and then you have to take care of it, and it'll start to grow. So, just kind of like thinking of creative ways of earning money. So like, one is, making music, when you, not just like for Epidemic, just creating music. Once you release music on streaming services, you can actually collect revenue, and then, you can get placed on playlists easily with Spotify now. And if you get placed on a playlist, your streams go up, and you're going to get a check from whoever your distributor is every 3 months. There's Stolen Drums. Like, he would release a single every week, and he
Yeah,
didn't realize how much money he had in his
I love
account.
that interview. And he's
Yeah,
like, and then I checked the number,
yeah,
and then
exactly.
he was like, bands.
Exactly. And I remember he would release music every week, just a single, and that's all you really have to do is be consistent, like create music. You can have a YouTube channel and generate AdSense, which is like how many ads are people watching with your YouTube channel, as well as automatically you can sign up for like Amazon affiliate links, where if someone decides to purchase your item or anything from Amazon within 24 hours, you get a percentage. You don't have to do anything but create the content. Once you create a video, it's up there, and it'll be there forever, and it'll generate income over time. So, just figuring out different ways to plant a seed and just letting it grow over time. Having a website with merchandise, or creating sound packs. Like, my sound packs, they're selling every day, and like I haven't created one in like months, and people are still purchasing it every single day. I'm always getting notifications about stuff like that, and it's just, instead of working, you know, a set amount of time for someone else, think of ways of how you can make money from things you already enjoy. With the sound pack situation, I had a bunch of sounds I created over time that I never used, and now people are using them. I don't have no
Yeah.
attachment to them, but now people are paying me to have them. So it's trying to just thinking of ways of helping other people to benefit everyone, but also help you out at the same time. A lot of people want to know how to learn how to use machine. Not only do they want to learn how to use machine, they want to learn how I know how to use it, for
Right,
some
you
reason.
specifically, like they found your channel, whatever. They're like, she's a dope teacher. I want to learn, like from her
Right,
specifically.
right, exactly. And everyone has a unique way of doing things. So I really encourage others to find what they love and not be afraid to embrace it and share it with others, because people do want to learn. Like, I would love, like we were before we got on here, I would love to learn your setup, like how you film, like when we talked about stuff
Right.
like that. So everyone has something that but you're already doing YouTube videos, but like like if you weren't, like I would be like, hey, you should like share your
I
information.
tell
And
people that all the time, like people who do really cool stuff but don't make content. I'm like, just
right,
tell people how you do what
right,
you do, because it's worth
exactly.
something to somebody.
Exactly. And you can create a whole career after it, and you don't even have to work. of a traditional job, and I see it all the time. And sometimes I just have to realize that I can encourage people and tell people what I see or have a vision for them, but they have they have to have the vision for themselves as well as put the time and effort to kind of just become that version of themselves. But I see it all the time. So many people have so much potential to not really have to work all the time. They have so much
Exactly.
talent, but a lot of that they just have to have drive, and I think that's some people have it and some people don't, and I really encourage people to just to find that drive to do what you love to do.
And I think for people to be able to see that it is possible, so hopefully like folks watching can learn from this conversation and hear you saying this and saying, oh shit, like this is possible. But also like you talked about having those mentors or those people that saw something in you saying like, hey, you can do like much bigger things. Like you can do really amazing stuff. So
Right.
I think everybody kind of needs that push. So
Right.
if folks at home listening, like if you're just kind of like taking this all in, like don't wait for that person to push you, because Sarah just told you. Sarah just told
Right.
you can literally do what you love right now.
Yes.
And start taking steps to making a career out of it. And real quick, guys, I believe the giveaway is going to close soon. It's in the chat. Thomas, why don't you just close that in 2 minutes? So guys, you can take a look at the link. Just scroll up in the chat, enter the giveaway. You can either win a Splice subscription or a Arturia plugin, the OBXA. Thomas is going to text me the name of the winners probably at the top of the hour. So make sure you enter. It's the last moments. Hopefully it's not closed before you get there. Really nice people in the chat saying really cool things. TV Lala says, you both are awesome. Thank you so much. Perky Man says, your mind creates your reality. So true. So like people are really just vibing with a lot of the things you were saying, which is cool. My mom's even in the chat. It's crazy.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah, people are super nice. Yeah, cool. A lot of really kind words. Thank you all. Almighty Otto says, Sarah, drop in a lot of gems. That's true. This podcast is filled with gems. Hopefully people can go back and watch it and consume. I want to shine a little bit of a light on like jumping off that passive income discussion, is talk about like No Quantize a little bit, because that's a brand that you created, and I love the idea of like it's like a merch, it's like a clothing brand, but it's kind of separate from you as an artist. Like it's not the Sarah2ill instrumentalist merch. It's No Quantize. It's its own thing. You want to talk a little bit about like your thinking behind that? Because I think a lot of artists usually just throw their name on stuff.
Right. I think for me, like I would go shopping at like Forever 21 or Urban Outfitters and like look at those graphic T-shirts and be like, wow, why don't they have vinyl or like a cassette tape on them, or like
a machine,
or a machine, or J Dilla, or like stuff I like.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, why don't you make it? And I wanted to make my own stuff, like my own like producer gear, clothing, and make it myself. And I'm at a point where I'm gonna start collaborating with other people, but I really just love creating my own like artwork, and just kind of challenge myself to just think of something creative. And there was a point where I guess after like meditating a lot, like there was a point I was like even washing dishes, and I remember listening to Ninth Wonder, and I could just remember like thinking to myself like, wow, I love how he has No Quantize on this beat. And then like I was like, oh shit,
No Quantize.
Yeah, let me look this up real quick. And like, okay, I think this would be a cool brand name. Like and I think for me, like you said, currently I think now a lot of artists put a lot of their own names on their merch and like their faces and stuff like that. But like I grew up like looking at Rockaware and looking at like Baby Fat, and seeing like like Russell Simmons or like Jay-Z being separate from their brands, and then selling their brands and then moving forward. So like I see No Quantize as a brand, and it's separate for me because it is a producer, beat maker, lifestyle brand. And if well, when it blows, well, as it blows up
Yeah.
and becomes the mega brand that it is, like, I do look forward to, like, moving forward. So, like, I would love to, like, sell it one day. So
For
it's
sure.
just, I just, like, have those future goals set for myself, and, like, know that it is separate from myself. And I don't want people to, not necessarily have to always, like, have to represent me. That they can represent themselves. You know, I just wanted to make gear for producers, not a shirt with my name on it, or that's kind of weird for me. Like, the only thing I would have with my face, like, currently, is, like, my beat tape that has, like, my baby pictures,
Yep.
or something like that. So, like, other than that, because, like, I only make stuff that I would wear, and I wouldn't really wear a shirt with my face on it, or my name.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Not even your name. I don't know about that. Sometimes when I'm just hanging around the house, I would wear whatever, TAETRO merch I might have.
It just depends. Like, my name's long, So
Yep.
I'm just like, but it's just like, for sure, like, my face. It'd just be weird if I was like, yeah, I got this hoodie with like,
For sure.
a giant.
Oh, look, it's me.
Yeah. Like, who's that? Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah. So.
All right, we're coming to the top of the hour. I have some winners in my WhatsApp. I need some clarity from Thomas about if this is 2 people. I believe so. But real quick, guys, the reason we're able to do these giveaways and bring you this programming every single day is because, 343 Labs is a school, and we have courses where you can learn all about music production, mixing, mastering, Ableton Live, Logic, all levels too, like beginner all the way to advanced. We have summer immersive courses where you can take all summer and learn. There's 4-week summer immersives. There's a 6-week, I believe, as well. Just really dive deep into stuff. Focus on learning and, like, leveling up your music production skills. So 343labs.com if that sounds interesting to you. I'm sure there's an instructor or a course that you might find interesting. And our instructors are live every single day here on 343 TV. So without further ado, we have 2 winners here. I just got clarity from Thomas. So the first winner, so we'll do first, is the winner of the 3-month Splice subscription, is Diane Parker. So congrats, Diane Parker, for the Splice, the 3-month Splice subscription. I use Splice a lot, so that is really dope. And for 3 months of Splice, like, if you really use it, like, you get enough to get a ton of samples, and then you get to keep the samples anyway. Like, they don't go away. I also have a ton of credits just building up in my Splice. So, like, I'm sure with 3 months, you won't even use all the credits you get. And then the winner of the OBXA, which is an Arturia plugin, which is a really cool synth, is Delirium 5459. So Delirium, congratulations. You have won that cool Arturia plugin. Congratulations to those 2 winners. If you didn't win, no worries. We do giveaways pretty much every day on 343 TV. So tune in tomorrow during the Bitwig stream, Bitwig Basics with Abe Duque at 1 p.m. EST, and you could win on there as well. But congrats to the winners. Let's hype up the winners if you can in chat. Thank you all so much.
Congratulations.
Sarah, this talk was super inspiring.
Oh, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Is there anything we didn't talk about that maybe we should have? Anything you want to shout out? Direct people anywhere they should go to check you out? I have your link in the description, anyway, your YouTube link. But tell people where else they can find you and where you want them to go.
If anyone's listening or watching, I appreciate you guys taking the time to, spend time with me. And if you guys want to check me out anytime, like, you can find me on any social platform at Sarah2ill, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. If you're looking to learn how to use the machine, I have a machine course out, noquantize.com. Check it out. But yeah, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And, like, stay inspired, stay safe, wash your hands,
For sure.
wear a mask.
Absolutely. And, if you guys need that creative push or whatever, go back, rewind, listen to everything Sarah already said in this podcast, because you don't need that person in real life telling you what you can do and what you can manifest, because Sarah already told you. Go back and listen to it. Make sure you guys check out 343labs.com, check out some courses, tune into 343 TV every single day, youtube.com/343labs, giveaways every day, free content every day. big immersive courses on 343labs.com if you want to level up your music production skills. This has been another episode of TAETRO Talks. Sarah, thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
All right, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.